we're happy to have you here. It's already 5:30. Oh, two people are in already.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Hello, Jenny's looking so pretty.
But with the flattery.
Okay, so we will
Are
wait
you?
for like a minute and
Okay.
allow two or some people to join so that we would just get going.
Okay. That's fine.
Okay. I messaged you. Did you see it?
I just saw that and I was like, wait, what's she on about?
No,
I'm waiting for
no,
you to
I
pick me
thought
off the top.
maybe you would just forget. So I'm like, let me just call this girl quickly.
Wow, okay.
No, I do it to everyone. I do like it happens. I was just thinking,
That's true. That's
yeah.
so true.
We
Oh
will just
wow,
wait for
happy to
two
be
more minutes.
here.
Yeah,
Okay.
happy to have you. Oh, happy to have you here. Did you share it? Yeah, another person has joined.
I did.
Okay, just give it one more
We're
minute.
all waiting on the link which you
Yeah,
decided to send quite
we
late.
will give
So
it one more minute and we'll start the conversation.
okay, lovely.
Our resource person is very prepared.
Please, please.
Hi, Papa Yao.
Hi, Papa.
Happy to have you here. We'll just wait for a few seconds till people are in. Yeah, I know that when we start, they'll be joining in eventually, so
Yeah.
no problem. We have like 20 seconds to go. So, hi Nelly, happy to have you here again. Hi, Papa. Okay, so we can start this evening session. It's going to be a very exciting one as always. And this evening I have my own roommate from KNUST. We are like sisters, and I've known Jenny for like 7 years now. So it's been like a very long time. So Jenny is currently reading her PhD in law at the Robert Gordon University here in the UK. But I'll leave her to introduce herself to us. And if you've joined us here for the first time, you are welcome. I hope you stay with us and share the link so that your friends can also join for us to have an interactive session as always. Thank you. Jenny, please introduce yourself to our friends who have just joined us.
Okay. Lovely evening to you all. I am Jenny Thompson, and I'm a PhD candidate at the Robert Gordon University. My research focuses on medical ethics. I'm working on a case of obstetric fistula and how the legal framework supports these women in Ghana. But today we're not talking about obstetric fistula or my research. We're here to talk about being an international student in the UK and the visa application process and everything that has to do with migrating to the UK via the student route. And so I hope it becomes an interactive session. And feel free to ask me anything you want, provided I do know it. I don't know all it. I don't know everything, but then I'll try my best to let you know what I know. So with a student visa, it's just a document or your gateway to come into the UK as a student or to come and study here in the UK. And for you to know how to get into the UK via the student route, it's just really ideal for you to know the type of visa because there is the long term and the short term. So the short term is simply meaning that your course is less than 11 months.
Oh, okay.
So
But do some courses have less than 11 months span?
yes, you've got
Wow.
some people come to the UK to learn English. So yes, I did. I forgot to mention that this will be a bit of like a personalized
Conversation.
view, exactly from my perspective of what I have experienced and what I know other people have experienced as well. So when I traveled to Spain a few months back, I did meet some people who told me they came to the UK to study English for
Wow.
6 months. And I thought, oh wow, okay, I didn't
Okay,
know
Jennifer,
that.
before we get into the visa conversation, can you tell us at what point you decided to study in the UK? Because I know you were in KNUST for your bachelor's. So at what
Yes.
point did you like what happened? At what point did you decide that I have seen Canada, I have seen China, I have seen USA, but I'll prefer to study in the UK? At what point?
Okay.
Like what happened to the UK educational system as an international student?
Right. I have always been a UK person, as you know that
Yeah.
I was coming into the UK. So I like the peace and the quiet, and I'm a Liverpool supporter. I know that doesn't really hold water, but those were some of the reasons that influenced my decision to come into the UK. I really was not too keen on the US nor Canada, and I thought it was going to be comfortable for me having family back here, the support system, because it is very key if you travel to a new
Different
place
country.
and you have nobody, it's quite a difficult situation. So I did explore certain courses in Canada as well, because they did have like the course I wanted, that was natural resource um, law, because I did natural resource management back home in Ghana. On second thought, I was just like, okay, I chanced on energy law in Robert Gordon. I said, wow, that's nice. And also, my uncle was lecturing at Robert Gordon, so he
Oh,
just
okay.
dropped that. Yes, he dropped that information, and I jumped on it because, as
Okay.
I said, it
So
seems to be
regarding
a
the
very
application process, some people are back at home and they'll be extorting money from people, lots of money, 5,000 CDs, even 10,000 CDs. Recently, I know of a person who was charged 8,000 for 500 for the agency to
wow.
apply just two universities for this person because to them they wrote the SOP and everything. And I don't know much about the UK application process. So take us through the process. Like, what would you need before you can study in the UK as an international student?
Okay, thanks for that question. So first off, you need to be 16 years and above, officially
Okay.
18, just so you could be on the student visa itself, or 16, 17, that's, child student visa. So once you fulfill that requirement, you then go look for a course that you are interested in. It is very imperative for you to look out for universities or education institutions that can sponsor your visa, because there are like schools out there that do not have the mandate to sponsor
Okay.
students. Yes. And again, that happened to my brother who was applying to flying school, and he realized that at the last minute, I think he was refused a visa, and just because the institution had no um, ability to,
To
sponsor.
sponsor, like to give a visa or
Exactly.
something.
So you would have to look out for that as well. And then once you know that, okay, I've got the course I want, um, they are able to sponsor your visa. You can get in touch with the course leader and let them
Okay.
know, as an international person, what you would want, or admission, what you that you're interested in getting on the course. They would make you create a portal, and that's like an application um, portal for prospective students. And then they would have conversations with you, ask you why you would want to get on the course, and allow you send in your details like your passport page, the official page, and if you've got fans, they would ask you if you did your schooling in English, and if it's necessary for you to bring in your IELTS. Mind you, in as much as that seems like a requirement, not every university asks for that.
Yeah,
No,
I would
it's
like
also
you.
dependent on the course.
Okay, so if you've just joined us, Jen is talking about the process involved in applying for a program in the UK. You don't have to go and pay any money. That's the more reason why you have to subscribe to this channel. And at this point, she just mentioned something really important that you don't always need IELTS. And she also mentioned something I think is very crucial that before you accept any program, be sure enough to know that the school has that kind of legal mandate or legal right to provide you admission or visa as an international student. Don't be carried away with with what they are offering. But please always be on the lookout for the status of the school itself in the UK here. And she's just mentioning you don't always need IELTS. So if you have been worried or if you really want to come to UK to study, but you feel like I can't write the IELTS and pass, she just told us it's not every time that you need the IELTS. So in the place of the IELTS, what would you need if you are coming from Ghana? Is English
Okay.
proficiency enough?
Yes, it's a requirement actually, because the UK is going by the points-based system,
Okay.
and the English scores a point of 10 for you as a prospective student coming into the UK to study. And so it's necessary. So in my case, I had to go to Kenya University and
Mm-hmm.
ask for a proficiency letter because I
Okay.
did all my courses in English. So
Mm-hmm.
that was just to prove that, okay, I did my course in English. And so they picked me on board. And then I had my WASI certificate as well.
Okay. Okay.
So that could,
So you applied for the program and you got the admission. So
yeah.
please take us through the visa application process after you obtain the admission. How do you apply? How did you apply for the visa?
Okay, so after you obtain the visa application, you obtain your admission, the school needs to provide you with a confirmation of acceptance for studies. That's your CAS. So yes, and that is an electronic record that has with a unique reference number. So literally, it has your course details, you as a person, what you're going to be doing here in the UK, any restrictions, and all of that. And so, but then before you obtain your cash, you have to make like pay some fees. So
Okay.
for the recording, the for you to obtain your cash, you're supposed to pay about 34%
Thirty
of the
percent.
total, 34%
34.
initial
Okay. That's
your
like one
initial
third of
deposit
it.
as your initial deposit for you to obtain your cash.
Mm-hmm.
And so that kind of serves as okay, you've got your school fees, part of your fees paid as well. So
Mm-hmm.
everything that you do prior to going to the embassy to
Mm-hmm.
apply for, like sending your visa, is put on that cash statement for you. So you pay that amount of money. I did get a discount as well. So some of the schools do give discounts.
Okay. So please,
Yeah.
like I mentioned in the flyer for this particular interview or this particular live session, if you've saved up some money and you're worried about it, reach out to your school, reach out to the international office. Like she just told us that in her case, she got some discount. So you can never tell until you ask. So ask your school if they can provide you with some discount like Jenny got in her case. Yeah.
Yeah. And with mine, it's just a general discount we give to international students, about
Okay.
£2,000 was waived off.
Oh, okay.
And so yes, and I came in into 2019.
Yeah.
So my fee as at then was about I think 13,000 quid
That
or
time. And they took two
yes.
thousand off.
When they took 2000, I think I paid 12,000 and something. So I think it was about 14,000. Because I
Okay.
remember I paid 12,000 and something,
Okay.
yeah. So with that wage of, I paid 34% of that 12,000.
Okay.
Then I obtained my CAS. And once you obtain your CAS, that's part of the unconditional offer given to
Okay.
you. So the school will come back and send you an email stating that okay, you've received an unconditional offer.
Mm-hmm.
And part of what they look out for, aside the English, is your bank statement.
Okay.
Yes, I mean these things come together for them to give you your
Okay,
cash.
Jenny. So
So they will look at your
what
cash.
would you which advice would you give to someone? Let's say the person does not have the resources, but the person is trying to do like, oh, when I come to the UK, I'll pay the fees. Would you advise somebody who can't please don't get me wrongly if you are watching us, if you can't really afford it as of now, because from what Jenny is saying, you have to pay about 34% of, in her case, of it before you could before she began her program. So would you advise someone who can't afford it to take the risk to, I mean, to try and still do it? Or because right now the pound rate is quite high,
Okay.
honestly.
Yes, it is. Okay, so we're all different people,
Mm-hmm.
different opportunities, different abilities. And if that person is a risk taker, knows, okay, I've got means to cater for this, then why not?
Okay.
Because, I mean, if you're able to go through stress as well, there are people, my case, who came to school and couldn't pay their fees, and the school was just on them. Then
Mm.
again, one thing is you could also contact finance and go by a new payment plan.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yes,
okay,
you can
okay,
go by a
okay,
new payment plan. But as to you not being able to secure that 34%, that is quite, dicey because that is more like they need to see that you
Before they
have
can
the
offer you.
ability. Yes, when you get on board, they know that okay, issues happen, problems like that, unforeseen circumstances. So people always go back to regulate um, how they would want to pay or make payment. But you would have to try as much as possible to get that 34% down. And that is only to my school. I know some schools actually talk about 60%.
Wow.
Yes, because they've had situations where the students come in and they do not,
Pay the
pay the
fees.
fees exactly. So you come in 34%, and then you'd also have to show that you've got an amount of money for your living expenses as well.
Okay.
So if you're unable to provide all of that, it means you're coming to the UK to be a burden
Yeah.
on the system. And so they will not, it's most
Take the
likely
risk
you
with
will
you.
not.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. However, if you are able to show all of that, but you come into the UK and you're not able to go by the initial payment plan, you're able to revise that with the finance team of your
Okay,
school.
okay. So please, if you are watching us, and like I said, if you've saved up some money, and I think from what Jenny has just told us, the best thing for you to do is to look out for schools that have minimum deposits before you can actually commit yourself. Because, like she said, her school is 34%, but in other places it could be 60%, which is a lot of money. So look for, but when you're done paying and you enter into the country, things could come up. So you could speak to the finance office or something, and they could give you a different plan for you to pay. So if you are looking at that route, please make sure you are looking at schools with less deposit, but you can actually pay the money. I hope this helps to clarify it. So Jenny, take us through the visa application process itself, the documents that you use, the process that you use, whether you had to go to interview, yeah, all of that.
Okay, so I went in conjunction with my school immigration team. They would want to see that okay, this person satisfies all the requirements because it goes against them to as an official or a licensed sponsor. You would have to make sure that the student or your prospective student is able to keep up for all of these things before he or she goes to make the visa application. And so, as I said, your finance, your placements, your English is on point, and your TV, you would have to go to for Ghanaians, people from Cote d'Ivoire, Togo. You have to go to the IOM, International Organization for
Oh,
Migration.
okay.
Yes, it used to be in is it Osu, that area, but I think it's now in airport residential. You would have to go for the TB test because you're going to be living in the UK for more than 6 months. So that's a requirement as well. And so I satisfied all of that, and then I did make my application. Now, when I was making the application, I did let them know because it's a portal. You go to www.gov.uk, and then you go to the section where study in the UK, yeah, for students, and then you click on it, and then you start with your application. Now, you have a unique reference number on your cards. That's what you put on your application. I think the first page or the second page, if I remember correctly. And then if you proceed to the next page where you fill in with your details and all of that. So it's very important for you to know that you have to get your health surcharge set as well for the number of years you're going to be in the UK studying. So with that,
Oh,
because
the health charge. Can you please explain it for our viewers who don't know what that is to understand, please?
okay, so the UK runs like a free healthcare system.
Mm-hmm.
When I say free, well, you could go to private, but then the NHS is free for people living in the residents in the UK. And so, but you would pay as a student, international person, you pay, but where it means for the you pay for the year, but then you could come in and be going to the hospital free of charge. So when you go to the hospital, you don't have to pay anything.
Anything?
I mean, for those of us in Scotland, because I know those in England pay for prescription.
Wow.
So yes, Scotland it's free. It is absolutely free. So when you go to the hospital, you could go to the hospital like 1,001 times, and you don't have to pay anything over the course of the year because you've already paid your health surcharge. But you would have to pay this before you are able to finalize your visa application. So there's a point where you make that payment. It gives you way or room to make that payment before you move to the next stage. That's to finalize your application and send it to the UKVI. So you cannot make an application without your health surcharge.
Okay.
Basically, that's what it is.
Okay. And how much is it? At the time you paid, how much did it cost?
I think at the time I paid it was about 400 and 470
Like
something pounds, if I remember correctly. Yes, or 456 or so pounds. Currently, while I was doing my research for this program, I had to go back and try to calculate my health chart. So the UKVI has a portal where you could just do a
you pay
calculation just to
every
give you an idea. Yeah, it's yearly, but as a new student coming on board, I've already paid because I'm still here, and even when I was making my visa application from the UK, but we'll get to that. But
okay.
when you're making it outside and you're coming in, you have the liberty to go on the portal to just check how much you're supposed to pay. And currently, I think it's 705
Wow.
pounds. Yes. So, but you would have to have that amount of money in your account on an e-commerce
Okay.
card, where because yes, it's a was an electronic payment. So you would have to have that, and then you have your visa application fees as well in that same account, so that you don't
Get
switch.
to
Yes.
get you.
And so if you're coming to the UK to study for a year, you're paying about 705 currently, and your visa application fee is £363. So you should have about 1,000 plus in your account.
The living expenses. If how much are you supposed to pay? Thank you. If you have just joined us, thank you very much. We are having a very educative moment with Jenny. She's taking us through the process involved in applying for a program here in the UK. She's told us what you should look out for. You should ensure that the school that you're applying to already have the right to issue sponsorship for you to apply for the visa. And if you're also looking for a program, you should ensure that the school does not expect you to pay so much deposit. In her school, for example, she had to pay 34% before the whole visa process started. And some schools will require that you pay like more than half of it. So it's up to you to make your own research to find a school that requires less deposit. And apart from that, you should also, she's mentioned that you would also have to pay for the surcharge. That's like your health insurance because UK has a free medical care system. You would have to, it's free, but since you're an international who will be enjoying these benefits, you'd have to pay for that for the amount. And currently it's about £705. And she said even after you have paid the deposit, when you enter into the country, when you enter into the country, you can actually speak to the people that like stuff have happened back home. So you just want to um take some time and then pay. If possible, they can help you regulate this payment plan. So if you've just joined us, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and please bring in your questions. I want Jenny to help us answer all the questions that you have on your mind. I can't regulate this interview alone. Please help us. Bring in your questions and we are going to read them out. Thank you very much. Jenny, please continue.
Okay, so where did we leave, get off? So yes, your health surcharge, and yeah, you will have to make sure that you've got all these things, your monies in your account. Now you did mention living expenses.
Hmm.
That is just money set aside in an account to show the UKVI. That's what's on your financial statement that you're able to cater for yourself when you get into the UK.
Okay.
So currently, I know that the amount that is being looked up for in a place like if you're studying in a place like London is quite higher than every other area. So in London, I think it's 1,200 and I can't get the exact figures, but then it's about 1,200 quid. And then for Scotland and other universities as well, you just pay about 1,026 or so.
Okay.
So at the end of the year, for that year or annual period, you have to have about 9,000 and 9,000 and something for to show the university, the UKVI that you're able to cater for yourself before you like your school fees as well. what's
Okay.
the remaining part of your fees as well.
Really?
You need to show
Oh,
that
that balance should be in the bank statement that you'll be using to apply for the visa.
because you have accommodation and all those things, but you should be able. I mean, because if they do subtract, the UKVI
Provide.
subtracts what you've already paid, okay, what you've already paid, and they put that on the card so they know that okay, what's expected to, or what's remaining is about that amount of money. Then your living expenses as well. So it's just ideal for you not to shoot yourself in the foot and provide enough evidence that you've got like enough money. It should not necessarily be yours, but whoever that is sponsoring you is able to show that we are able to cater for the prospective students. You understand? So
Mm.
yes, that's it with the
But did you
living
have
expenses part. Say that again.
an interview for the visa application?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
Although I just heard that it's been scrapped off, but
Mm.
I did have an interview. I remember I was asked. I remember I was asked what I'm going to do in the UK as a student work course. Why the course? Why not in Ghana? Why am I doing that in
UK.
the UK? Why not any other place but the UK? So yes, you would have to let them know why you chose the course, why the UK. Basically, they just want to know if whatever information you provided on your cast is the same thing. So literally authenticity. Okay, that's what they look out for.
You're not late.
So
Jenny, am I frozen?
you're frozen. You've blacked out.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I think someone tried to call me and then oh,
Mm, because you've blacked out.
you're not late, Linda.
So
Don't worry,
I
I'm sure it will come. Like I'm sure it will come back.
okay.
Don't worry.
So aside that, I mean, with me, after that part of the interview, I was so fantastic, and that was me out of the VAC, that's the Visa Application Center. Now for the UK, the Visa Application Center is Movenpick, I think the Movenpick building. So those of you who know Movenpick where it is, you find the Visa Application Center there, and you go through. And for students, I mean, they do have special, I will not say special, but then it's quite different from the normal or those who are like tourists and all these other
Okay.
people. Yeah, because the students are many, they're quite many as well. And then they do have different services. You should do well to upload your documents yourself rather than it's a like a straightforward process. People think it's difficult, others panic because they think, oh, I wouldn't want to make a mistake. But it does have a portal where you can just upload everything yourself before your appointment date. You understand?
Yeah. No,
However,
I'm
if
trying to
you're
unfreeze
having to
myself,
wait,
but it's like I'm struggling. I
wow,
haven't. Yeah, I haven't.
do we need to go off and come back on or?
Yeah, I'm thinking. You let's continue. I'm just
Okay,
hoping
okay.
that in like a minute or two, it should. I should be okay.
Oh, okay. So, with that, you get on. I mean, students are treated a bit differently because there are quite many, and the processes are like you would have to go through the interview. However, I had it's been scrapped off. So, no, you may be asked to undergo some interview. That is, maybe if they think they would want to prove that you can speak English, or just want to hear from you yourself about the details you provided on your cast. So that's just about it. And then you go back and wait for your response. With mine, I think it took about was it 21 days? You're back
Am
on
I
now.
unfrozen now?
Yes, you're back
Okay.
on.
I applied for the technical H. I'm very sorry about it. It was unforeseen. Thank you, Jenny.
Okay, that's fine. So you will go back home and wait for your response, just as like any visa that you apply for. So mine I think took about 21 days
Okay.
for me to get a response.
That
And yes, I
Okay.
think it usually takes about 3 weeks. That is a normal application. However, there is the priority service and super priority service. That takes
Mm,
about 7 days or so.
okay.
Yes, for people who are supposed to like maybe start their course pretty much early and they don't have much time, so they go for expedited um, service. So I think when my visa came in, I saw the vignette. So the UK VI puts a vignette for you in your passport and gives you a month space to show up in the UK
Okay.
because once the vignette expires, you cannot enter the UK.
Wow.
So you need to try as much as possible to come in within that month,
Period.
the yes, 1 month period. And once you get into the UK, you've got 10 days to go for your residence permit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, someone would ask me, how do I go for where do I know or where do I pick up my residence permit? When you are filling in your application form, you put your university's address there. Now that serves as like should I say a landmark or a point where they could provide you with the nearest post office where
Okay.
you could pick up your BRP or your
Mhm.
biometric residence permit. So having that, you know that you are safe in the UK, you're
Yeah.
legal
Like now,
resident, and then yes, and then you can go about with your school things like trying to settle buying your stuff like a pillow and finding accommodation for yourself. Now there are a lot of times some people go in for the student accommodation. It's a choice, to be honest with you, if you've got the money. You always know that university accommodation is quite on the high side rather
wow.
than going in for the normal housing accommodation. You can go in for a normal housing accommodation, but it just takes a bit of time. And then there's also a requirement that maybe you would have to be in the UK, have lived in the UK for about
Oh,
maybe yes months, and maybe you're working. Some landlords actually ask for all of that. So you would have to be on the safe side. Some people just go for student accommodation
hmm.
whereas others also who have friends and family just decide to be with them for a while, then so they
Eh,
find their feet and all.
if you're international students, would you be able to work? Well, because I know that in the US, for example, if you're an international student, you can only work for 20 hours on campus. If you work off campus, it's illegal. But I don't know what, because imagine someone saving like 30% of fees, which cost, let's say, 15,000. So around
Yes.
£5,000, £5,000. The person comes to the country with the hope that he or she can work and get some money to pay the fees or take care of some bills. Let's say if it was even a loan that a person took to come into the country. So here in the UK, how is it like working as an international student legally? What's the truth?
Like it is 20 hours, just like the US. The only difference is that you're permitted to work anywhere
Okay.
during while school is in session. So basically, while school is going on, I'm not saying that okay today I've got class, so I could just go to work. No, 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 that's not what I mean. But during term time, like, you can just be working,
So it's 20.
okay, and then yes, for 20 hours a week. And then
Okay.
when school is on vacation, you're permitted to work full time. So you
So you,
can work
so you can even do 60 hours.
well, but there's always a restriction. But then basically you can work full time. I think for full timers, you're not even permitted to. I'm not too sure, but I think one of the jobs I applied for, I was told that 40, was it 45 or 48 hours? I
Wow.
think so. So basically about 37 hours makes sense. You
Yeah.
understand? So you're just permitted to work as much as you can. But you should know that the more jobs you go in for your NI,
Tax.
yeah, you would have to also go like apply for your NI because that's what's going to make you legible to work because you would be paid through that. Okay,
From
so you would have to.
you've just told us, I'm thinking that if you are if you have the intention of coming with loans and then paying back, it's from what you told us earlier. I mean, it looks like it's possible, but it's going to be a bit hard, especially because
Yes,
you are required to speak to work for 20 hours. This is why
yes,
I think some of these sessions are very very important and useful because probably you
yes,
are thinking about what to do. You're thinking about the country to undertake your master's degree or your PhD, and you are thinking about UK and other places, before you come, please be aware of all of these things. These agencies might not tell you the real truth, like our resource person is telling us. She's been here in the UK, been studying for like 4 years, so she knows what she's talking about. It's not like a story. Don't go and pay any agency like 5,000 CDs, and they'll promise you that I'll bring you over, and when I bring you over, you can work all the hours that you want. Legally, it's not possible from what Jenny
Yeah.
has just told us. So think about all of that. And the discount, she said her school gave her a discount. And this is what these organizations who are charging so much will tell you. Oh, even there's through me, the school will give you a scholarship. It's not through their efforts. It's because you merit it, and the school is giving it to you. So please don't pay any money. Just subscribe to my YouTube channel and be having more of these useful
So
sessions.
let me tell you a story and viewers as well. So when I was doing my masters and my colleagues from Nigeria, most of them
Mm.
came and were like, oh, their agents. Their agents told them that this course is their best bet. I think they were on, was it data analyst
Oh wow.
or data science? I think it was data science. And this is somebody coming from Nigeria who is a banker, wants to do the masters, but has not really had like time or anything to do with a computer.
What?
So he used to stress out a lot and go sleep at the library because I used to go sleep at the library. So I like sleep at the library. You know, usually we're being deceived that okay, the UK education system is not difficult. My dearest, it is hard. It is hard. I'm not even gonna be playing or
Yeah.
mincing words about it because it is most of it is research. It's your ability to apply what you've learned, your application of knowledge. And so I was not doing exam. That was also one thing I looked out for when I was choosing my course. I
Okay.
was just tired of exam. And luckily enough, my course was just strictly coursework presentation
Mm.
and yeah, those things. So literally, if you're getting on a course where you're writing an exam, you're doing coursework, and you have to do workshops as well. It's a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
these people are just stressing a lot and always crying. You see grown up men crying
Oh.
that they are not really knowing what they're about with the course and they have to go work and pay their fees as well. That's why I stated initially that if you feel you are good with stress, you're a risk taker and all that, you feel you can do it, why not? Because not everybody has the ability. I did see some people cry. I cried myself at some point. Yes, not because, but because I was delving into a new area of study and I knew I had to double up, knowing that
And
I was in class with
what?
experienced people.
Yeah.
Yes, so, and eventually it did pay off. But then if you've got so many responsibilities on you, you would have to rethink taking that step.
But
So,
these
yes,
agents, all what they are interested in is just taking their money from you. So they would not,
yes.
they'll just be saying things to you, exciting you because of what they are getting from you temporarily. And then you will
Yes,
make
they're
them
getting money from you and getting money from the institution as well.
really,
Because, yes, I don't know if it's still like that, but prior to my coming, I think someone made me privy to that. You could actually get about £1,000 from the
wow.
institution working as an agent for them.
Wow.
Yes. So they're getting money from you, they're getting money from
So
the.
they're not doing anyone any favor. That's the whole point. Nobody's doing you any favor.
Everyone is looking out for themselves. You've
Yeah.
been here, so you know how the UK is.
Not
It's
they are doing you
it's
any,
tough. Yes. It's
yeah.
unfortunate, but that's it. And the funny thing too is if you tell people back home it's not as easy as it looks, they don't believe you. So you
I
just leave them to come
think
experience it.
you are blocking their chances from coming. But this whole conversation, honestly, is just to give you an honest opinion, so that whenever you are deciding, you'll be well informed. You know,
True.
if I'm taking the risk, these are the implications, the consequences. So it's not as if you don't know. So when you
Yeah.
come there, oh, I'm here for the risk, I'm here for it, or I'm here to do what I have to do to, yeah, get out of here, or just stay here. So please consider that. And then Jenny, with the UK now, with the new immigration rules for students and all of that, I know that previously you could bring your partner, and even till now, if you are doing a research degree, which I know a PhD is part, you can bring your partner. But how so can your partner work in like when you came?
Okay, so
If you had a partner, could he have worked and could he have worked full time, or they also have some restrictions if you're a partners if you're a partner of a student? I'm asking because at our age, some people are married and some also have fiancés and fiancés that they are arranging something. So before they travel out to the country, they want to know what it means for people who have children, people who have families, people who want to relocate using this UK study route and all of that. So can your partner work
yes, they can. Being on a dependent visa, you're permitted to work
anywhere,
uh,
any hours?
anywhere. That's the good thing about the UK. You're permitted to work anywhere, provided you land the job
Mhm.
and your employees are, I mean, your employers are happy giving you the job, and then you're permitted to work as much as you can.
Okay.
So that's a good one for
Please let's
those
be
who are on
questions.
dependent
So
visas.
so far, what has been like because I know that you had your masters, and after your masters in 2020, you began this program that you are pursuing. So how has it been like studying in the UK? If someone is watching us and you have to sell the idea to the not sell like if you have to tell somebody something, so that that person can make a decision whether I'm choosing this country as my place of study. What what can you tell us about like studying in the UK? How has it been like? How different and yeah, the
Okay,
benefits.
first off, your long-term goals,
Okay,
what you seek to achieve at the end of the day. So you don't have to just look at the like interim. Okay, I need to maybe do this. I need to do that. Everyone has goals and their own things. Why they'll take an initiative.
hmm
So you have to look at the long term. Does it suit you coming to the UK to study? Is it better going elsewhere where there are certain opportunities that you can get?
hmm
Because you need to also look at the type of course that you're going to get at this country. Okay, which courses or which jobs are in high demand, or they need the skills, and you need to look at all of those things if that is if you're seeking to be here long term.
okay.
So if you look at that, you know that all right, at the end of the day, I could get this,
Well,
I could do that, I could go back, I could use my expertise this way. Yes, exactly. And as I said, it is a good one because it did help me in terms of independent study. I
okay,
was in Care University. I loved Care University, although I didn't really like the course I was doing. But I think I put in more effort here than in Care University. I mean, you're my roommate, so I used to sleep a lot. So that's it. Here I was always on the move, and all that. Maybe because, as I said, my goal was to achieve something, and because maybe I
I'm
had promised
thinking that
my
probably the
sponsor.
smaller classes, maybe because you are few in the class, you'd actually have to work work or something, or do the lecturers drive you along? Is that how?
Well, they are good. So my class was actually a lot. It was and the most diverse. That was what one of the lecturers said. That was the most diverse class, and were many.
Hmm.
Were many, to be honest, yes. But what I know is currently there are so many students now as well. Maybe because of, I don't know, because I mean the UK is really good now.
Which
So
you read for the masters?
okay, I did energy law.
Oh,
So I
okay,
did oil, gas, and energy.
okay.
Yeah, so I was in class with all these oil and gas lawyers.
Mm,
There were other pathways as well, like construction law and all. So it's like being in a room full of lawyers and law students, you
yes, I
understand? And I'm only coming from a natural resource
very sus-
background. Yes. So I remember the first question I asked myself was, can I really do this? Yeah, because everyone had to introduce themselves. And
yeah.
the lecturer in front, and you will not believe it, at 26, not that I was 26, but there was one guy in my class who was 26 and he already had a PhD and he was sitting beside me.
Wow.
So, yes, he's Austrian.
Okay.
So knowing very well I'm in class with all these people, I had a bit of doubt that can I do it? Kind of thing. I had to pick up. And so these are some of the things that motivated me to put in extra while I
Effort.
was studying. Yes. whereas other people are not going to be, because maybe they already know much, just that you would have to, add to you what you know and all of that. So as I said, your long term goals is paramount when you're making decisions of such, or
Mhm.
where to study, or where to pick, like which country you would want to go study.
Okay.
And with other benefits as well. I mean, the lecturers are really good. I can't talk for every university here in the UK, but I have been lecturing for a while now, and with the workshops and the studies that we do on how to manage like students,
Mm-hmm.
it's more like be student centered. So I know they do look out for the interest of students. If you do know, and they do have that facility. I think we did have that in Kenya as well, but we're just not patronizing them for
Mm.
a lot, and we were not really keen on. I mean, we just the scientists were. I mean, I would talk for myself. I was not too familiar with, or I simply didn't care that much. But growing up, I think adulthood also plays a part or a role in all of this, shaping your understanding and approach to certain things that you find yourself doing. So the facilities there, and my school is quite modern as well. So we do
Wow.
have that space, that environment, that facilities to kind of interest the students and also allow them have that enabling environment to study.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so yes, and you
Okay.
should feel free to drop email. The email system works really here.
Yeah.
So as students, you always once you just um, show your intention, create a portal for a student's account. Know that you will start
Receiving
having to
emails.
be yes, and so you would have to be on your email a lot to keep and read a lot as well. You would have to read wide so that you're always abreast with whatever that is going on, because the UK immigration just always there's always recent like updates. They're updating their policies, their rules,
No,
and
even
all of that.
recently they had this some changes that they are still talking about even in the parliament with this prime minister with this minister for education and yeah, so
Really?
things are changing every day. So if you are
Oh
planning
yeah.
to study in the UK, please be informed. Don't just sit down in ignorance and make some decisions. Please make use of some of these opportunities so that you would know what you're about before you just mess yourself up, especially because the fees are quite pricey. Considering our exchange rates, like cost of living has actually risen everywhere. So in Nigeria, in Togo, everywhere else, I'm sure wherever, even in India, everywhere that you are watching us from, or people who watch this video later when I upload it, you realize that when we convert the pound rate in your home country, the rates out like yours is quite is too much. So I don't think you have to waste so much money before you make that conclusion. It is possible if you've saved up something. It is possible. From what Jenny has told us today, she's given us so much information. Do you want to say
If I
something?
could come in here briefly, Afra, do well that I mean, if you're trying to move from wherever you are to the UK, at least you have your first 6 months sorted out, like in terms of your
Fin-
funds.
Okay,
Okay, yes, because others are in view of okay, when I come in, I'll get a job.
okay.
Currently in the UK, I don't know for England because I'm based in Scotland. But if you're looking for a job, they're now going a lot with like even student jobs, they would want what's that experience
Wow.
for a year. The least you get is 6 months experience in the UK and not any other place. So you just wonder, I just got into the UK. How do I get that 6 months experience they're talking about? So you should be able to at
Master's
least
program is often even less than 1 year. So if
yes,
for 6 months you're not finding a job to do,
you'll be found wanting, and there's no one here to help you. That's one thing you don't move here and think, okay, my fellow black man, or sorry if I sound racist, but they would fellow African, yeah, let me just use that. Sorry
yeah,
about that.
what
Would be there to help you.
is
I
true.
have been on a bus where people are not able to, maybe their point for
Mm,
getting on the bus because here in Aberdeen, you need to drop in the coin. If that's if you're using
Mm-hmm.
the coin, and you're not gonna get any change back. Unlike Liverpool, you can ask for change, but here you cannot. So if I have about now, I think the bus is 4:30 for students all day.
Oh,
So
okay.
about 4:30 quid. And I think it can go as high as £5 and
Mm-hmm.
dollar. So imagine spending £5 every single day on a bus. And there's an occasion where you do not have the pound to add up to your £4. No one
Yeah.
is gonna mind you. It was rare for you to get somebody to come to your aid and decide to pay that amount for you. Everyone minds the business here.
Yeah, so from what Jenny is saying, in all honesty, because this conversation has been very honest, like I
Mhm.
expected it. She's told us about what you should look out for, and some of the crucial things she's mentioned is that you have to have funds, and at least have your deposit, and then have something small that can sustain you for the first few months that you'll be in the UK, in case there are some delays in getting a job, and all of those things. Besides, from what she just said, it's very true. Please don't come thinking or hoping that my auntie or my uncle or my cousin over here is going to support me, unless of course you've already have like had a previous conversation where the person has promised that, oh, maybe you come, I would assist you. For that, I can't speak to that matter. That's like a personal conversation. But if you are coming hoping that someone else would assist you, I'd advise that you look out for other countries where you don't have to pay deposits and all of that. That's what I think. But like how from what Jenny has said, Jenny has told us that some people are still able to come and then take the risk and bear all the ordeals, and at the end of the day they are able to succeed. So if you're that kind of person, you're a risk taker, you've saved up some funds that can at least get you the deposit, and you want to make that decision. That is the main objective of this interview, or of this live session, that at the end of the day you would know what you are doing with yourself before things go south. So if you have any questions, I'll be taking them. I'll read a few comments that I have here. The last person just said, anointing. Anointing said, yep. And Dr. Amweje has told us that, yeah, she said currently the maintenance fee currently is £1,334 per month in London and £1,023 per month outside London. So that is like 9,207 outside London and 12,006 in London for the year. So, Dr. Ella, thank you for sharing this objective, this comment to add up to what Jenny has told us about the pricing. So, in the UK, their capital is London. So, or Britain is the capital of land. Sorry, London is the capital of Britain. Like we did it oral English. So London is quite pricey. If it's in Ghana, I'll speak of London as Accra. So cost of living is very high as compared to other places in the UK. So you have to consider that the school I'm even choosing, the location itself. If you want to be in London, fair enough. But if you want to be in other places too, you should consider that if you're in London, that means you're paying about 12,000 even before your deposit. You are like you have to share about 12,000 in your account. £12,000 in our country Ghana is a lot of money before the deposits, and then you come and the expense and everything. So please bear all those things in mind. Ella, thank you for those beautiful comments. And Papaya said, thanks for the education. Big ups. Papaya, thank you too for staying through. And
Yeah.
Kaka Apia. Kaka Apia said, Emmanuel Ban, concentrate on the lecture. Linda, you are not late. And Bobby Chef is saying that 1,000 could be a startup safe. Could be a startup save for NGONG. I don't know what that means. And if you could please come clear, we see you too. Yeah, so just like we were talking about the cost of living, if you're coming to the UK, please don't let us waste our 1 hour where you learned nothing and you come hoping that someone will help you. These are realities. I don't know how to sugarcoat it, that you come and you can afford it. I think they have a very restrictive form of paying your fees, so you have to come prepared. That's what I would say. But if you've saved up
That's really,
something,
really much true.
yeah, but if you've saved up something, please don't be disappointed. Please come. And then Jenny said something that I never knew, and I've learned something new today. That when you enter and there are issues, that way you can speak to the finance office and they can give you a new payment plan for you to be able to pay the fees. So don't be worried, don't be afraid. If like, and she also mentioned, if you are thinking of that, if you are thinking that you can be a risk taker, be confident, gather all the strength and then come. It is possible. Not everyone comes. Honestly, no, I don't think everyone comes here with the ability to pay the fee. But as long as you've managed to save up something, please be assured that as long as you have that willingness and that boldness to go to the system, that's an option for you as well, and you can succeed. However, and we started the conversation, she said she applied by herself. So you can apply by yourself. You don't have to pay agent. Jenny has told us that sometimes when you pay these agents or when they extort these funds from you, they also extort funds from the schools where you are going as well. And you can also speak to your school or check out if your school has some discount for you. She just told us about discounts as well. I didn't know about it. So please speak to your school and find out if there are discounts. And then also, please make sure that you are looking for schools where the deposits might not be so high. Because in her case, she had to pay 34%. In 2019, it was about 14,000 or 12,000 pounds. So that value, think about it today and what you're supposed to pay. And some schools demand that you pay 60%, which is quite high, like very high. So look for all those situations and then choose which the one that best fits your pockets or your interest. And also she talked about health surcharge. She said that apart from you paying the visa fees in the UK, healthcare is free. The NHS is free, but as an international student, you would have to pay something. And she said as of now, it's at £705. So think about it as well that you'd have to pay that before you also come, apart from the deposits. And she also mentioned that it's not always that you need the IELTS. Some schools require that you take the IELTS, some don't. And in her case, she is in Robert Gordon University. In her case, she had to use the English proficiency from Care University, where she had her bachelor's, and she also used the WASI, the English grade that she had for WASI from Fantiman Girls. Then she added it to the program and the application process, and that's how come she got it. So it's been a very educative session as always. Jenny came really prepared, and I'm happy that she's filled out all the beans. And she's told us that if you're married or if you have children, you can move in with them. But in the UK, you can if you're a student, you can only work for 20 hours. These are my takeaways. So if you have questions at this point, we are almost wrapping up, so you can just bring it in. 20 hours, and it could be anywhere. But during vacations, you can work full time. And full time here is like 40 hours, 30, 37 hours. Yes. And then if you have a partner, your partner, as for your partner, he or she is not restricted. They can work anywhere and they can work full time. So think about all of these things really before you make a decision. And just before we ended, she told us that please don't come in hoping that somebody here would assist you. Because even on the buses, 50p and £1, people don't are not so willing to give. So before you decide to come here, think about everything that Jenny has told us. It's been like an hour of her telling us all that I think we need to know to help us make informed decisions in applying for program. But if you can afford it, and I think if you can, I think you can actually come, and it should be okay. It should be okay. Jenny, thank you very much. She came in very early, like 5:30.
Thank you so much for
Thank you
having
very much.
me,
And
and
all of you
to
that
your
came,
audience as
I
well. Thank
got
you.
some high numbers. Please don't leave without subscribing. My new friends. Jenny, thank you very much. And we are proud of you and all that you are doing. After your masters, you've gone into the PhD program. And I think in a year's time, we'll be speaking to Dr. Thompson. And we are trusting God that by then you'd have got higher in your career, got bigger job opportunities and making some more money and impact. We are so happy and proud of your achievements and what you are doing. Thank you so much for giving us this information without we paying you. So if you have something else to tell our viewers before you leave, please let us know your final words.
Yes, thank you once again for having me here on your show, and to everyone who made it, thank you so much. What I would like to say is do not be discouraged, forge ahead, also read, write,
Okay.
always update yourself because, as I said, they're always constantly updating, and so you would have to keep abreast with whatever that's going on. Nobody's going to excuse your ignorance. So yes, how you know that here,
Yeah.
but nobody cares if you go like, oh, I didn't know. Well, you should have that kind of thing. So and ask, always ask. And if you're planning on coming through, please do work with your immigration, your universities, or your higher um, education institutions immigration team. Do
Okay.
ask all the necessary questions. If you do not know, you could also hit up Afra. I could also be of help as well.
Willing to
I'm
ask.
happy to do that. Yes, I'm happy to do all of that as well. So, and also do read a lot about these universities before you apply, their requirements, and if they are official, like licensed sponsor for students. Because as I said, it's not really nice for you to get a refusal visa. It's really not nice, and it also kind of
Yeah.
disrupts a lot of opportunity for your travels, your future travels. So please do make sure you keep yourself informed. And yeah, thank you so
Okay.
much, and let's do have a lovely
Hold on.
night.
Please don't leave without subscribing. God bless you. Okay,
Of
bye.
course, because we'll do this again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Afra. Have a nice weekend.
Bye.
All right, bye.